Good morning. My name is Sarai and Ajai. Today is March 22nd, 2020. The time is approximately 11:49 a.m. And thanks for watching my identity theft, continued violation, retaliation, false impersonation, false sex determination, and harassment video. I wanted to go into this video as part 2 of my 1982 yearbook. I graduated in Hyde Park Career Academy. It's a little tattered because it's decades old. Here it is. I am on page 33. Under my original name. As my finger is pointing underneath, there it is. And if I remove my glasses, which I can't see you at all. Under my original name, Carol Willis, and in my face. The problem with this identity theft and false impersonation problem is that Doe et al., he or she is changing their names either exactly as my name or similar to it, and then changing my identification or my birth certificate vital records without my consent, even though their change name documentations are authentic. Our date of birth, social security number, and address, and other personal identifier information, or PII, doesn't match, or forensic biometrics doesn't match, blood work, medical records, so forth and so on. But somehow I had discovered that they were using my information as an open source or a template as a public domain. So when they are in need of something, for example, my academics, they would go in and override my information as theirs, and then I get discriminated against as if I was the dropout. Or the continued violation, that is a mistake when they don't match it. My name is rare. When the judge changed it, he knew I had this problem, and we both agreed never to change my social security number because it only made it worse. I'm afraid that they may have done this without my consent, and I never went into the state courts in any jurisdiction of the United States to change my social security number because I have documents out there I didn't want to change, and still today, and I will always do not want that social security number change. And they're trying to unfederal my paperwork. That's how they described it. I had some incidents with my first video. My first video to this is the second part regarding my credit bureau report, and you need to go back and look at the previous video. I never authorized it, so I'm having some strange things happening because of it. Out of the 3 major credit bureaus, there's other major credit bureaus where these names have came up. I have documentation of that as well. And I never authorized it. I had taken online courses for certification to become a developer with cancer. I try to stay busy, try to keep my mind occupied. I got hurt in the hospital because someone wanted to go to medical school on my paperwork. And I'm always assaulted and afraid of my life because of people false impersonating me without my credentials. People are claiming that I'm crazy or schizophrenic. Well, we know schizophrenic is not an organized person at all. I don't have a behavior of a schizophrenic, but they claim that I'm giving them my paperwork when I'm having identity theft and I'm giving them my paperwork. I've been having mailing issues. How did it get to it? I don't even know you. The question is, how did it get to it? So they had to come through the mail. That's the only way they could have got it. When I'm sending mail or receiving mail, someone is opening my mail and getting copies of my mail and then claiming I've given it to them. Or I'm giving them my ID, or they producing a state ID or a driver's license, and I have a receipt when I was in those DMVs. So how am I giving them my ID when you produce an ID that it would hit my account with a credit card or a debit card? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. So you saying I'm giving them something, how can I have the authentic ID, so how could that happen when they're producing IDs without my authorization? That's another question. I have no idea. I'm speculating at this point because I'm not sure how they're doing it. They claim I moved to a new state. I never gave anybody copies of my ID. They never requested it. So how did they get copies of it? Only the 3 credit bureaus to update my information. I had to send in a copy of my ID, my driver's license, and some other type of support with my address on it. I did. And I sent that through the United States Postal Service. That's the only way they could have got the ID number. Or the copy of that ID, which I marked all over it for the purpose of what it was intended for. So I never gave, since I've been here, and it's going on 11 months in Fargo, North Dakota, I have never gave them a copy. So how could it be a copy floating around of it? I never gave them a copy. I haven't been in the DMV since I moved here, but that one time. And I have the receipt to match it. So that's quite interesting too. Now, this is a continued violation from where I'm from. So I'm not sure who is lying. I had to give them my initial driver's license in order to get the new state ID where I'm living now. So I had to relinquish one. So I do have an older, my state ID identification card. I didn't give them both. I just gave them a license. And just in order, so I can retrieve a real ID, which I received. So I'm not sure how they got the copy. I didn't give it to them. I didn't give them a copy. And the only time, and I did send my state something about a marriage license. I wanted to see if there was a marriage license on me, and I had to send that through the United States Postal Service. Right, all of it's going certified mail, and I had to send them a copy of the ID. Those were the only time I sent copies in. So I don't know how they got copies. So there are some strange things happening. I noticed I take an online course to become a developer while I have cancer, and all of my 2019 courses grades are missing. These are certification courses. They're missing on my transcripts. It's basically an online account, and then you go into the folder, the actual web page that houses my grades, and I'm missing all of my 2019 grades. All these kind of glitches are happening. So I'm sure they're claiming it's somebody else when it isn't. I feel like I'm being hijacked, my personal information being intangibly kidnapped, which they don't have it as a federal offense, but it should. It's intangible, but that's basically what it is. They're basically hijacking my information for the sole purpose of their use when they don't match it. It goes into my email account. The classes I sign up for and pay for is all in my email account. We have to send in a photo ID. Well, we take a picture of it on our phone so they can apply it to the system. But I don't know how they could steal it, and I'm afraid they're trying to steal my transcript. Even though the certification numbers are there, they're claiming the actual grades of 2019 are missing. All of my courses I've taken. Then there's rumors that I'm homeless and I'm at the homeless shelter. So that gives those counselors lying about that, and I'm not in their jurisdiction when I always have a lease. And I have leased for years. And this is another issue when I'm not in a jurisdiction, somebody in a homeless shelter false impersonating me when we don't match the profile. So I'm going to show you my apartment and I'm inside, but this is the continuous issue that I face every day. I can't even go out in public. I get harassed. They want to lock me up. I go into a store. It doesn't matter what store. They claim I'm shoplifting when I'm not even shoplifting. They got the surveillance cameras on me and telling me they're gonna, and I keep my receipts on me. They're threatened to hurt me because I'm supposed to be a drag queen. I'm supposed to be in their psychological frame of reference, or they preconceived notion that I'm supposed to be a male by birth, and I'm not a male by birth. I'm a female, and my gender identity is female. I was sitting up there crying a few months ago, and had to make a video showing that I didn't have a dick. I had to go nude just in case I get killed or harmed so bad or jumped on because of a discrimination of my female birth sex. Based on my sex, my female birth sex, I'm being discriminated. They were going to hurt me. I didn't know what to do but to show that I don't have a dick. And they want to physically hurt me because I'm supposed to be a male. This is the problem with this issue. I had to put it in my email account because I'm afraid, and put a disclaimer on it that they were going to hurt me because I'm not a male from birth. And I should be a male from birth when they sat there and did this to my something to do with my birth certificate problem and the vital records of my birth certificate and the manipulation of the public domain. I guess they changing my sex on my birth certificate when they were manipulating it, and then I was being discriminated against, or they were doing it to have me discriminated against over my female birth sex so they can get the job under my academia. I lost everything behind this method with these name changes and these manipulations of my paperwork, my IDs under the state, Illinois, and I believe they're doing it here in North Dakota with my credentials as an open source for anyone. If they change their information, they can let them use it as an open source without my consent. And the problem with this, I should be able to, the Freedom of Information, those accounts, I should be able to see an active information of all of my photographs for those IDs, my driver's license or my real ID, showing the history of those IDs and addresses and showing it active. But they don't do that. And I'm afraid that people are going to hurt me because I'm on my correct information. So now I'm going to show you my apartment. I'm not schizophrenic. I don't live in squalor. And they always misidentify me as someone else and then claim it's negligent all the time. It happens to me all the time. And someone else is always personating me, and it's their paperwork. I don't even look like them. And then they tell me they were colorblind. This stuff is unbelievable. It's like a nightmare. And my parents told me if I go to school, life will be easy, and it isn't. They never told me that they can steal your information by false impersonate you. You can lose your whole livelihood based on a name change when they don't match the profile, the birthday. They can override your records on your actual account, like your driver's license account, and then claim they're you. This is unbelievable. So I'm going to show you my apartment. I have rental lease history, and I'm not in a homeless shelter. And they keep claiming this in order for them to take advantage of my paperwork. It was something to do with them authorizing the homeless people on my credentials when I don't even know them. They want to help people. They want to keep helping people without voluntary servitude my information, like they own my information without my consent. And the problem is, what is going on with my information? The constitutionality behind it is the state that can actually redistribution of your wealth, of your credentials, if they don't like what you look like, or they preferably treat it and profile more favorably someone else over you. This is the problem that I'm having at this point. This is the problem is, do they have the right to preferably choose and profile more favorably someone else over your credentials, and then put you in poverty or put you on the streets based on their preferably treated and profile more favorably person? So if they don't like you, they'll let you override your records, and then you will be discriminated against because it shows that it belongs to someone else when it doesn't. They don't even match my rare blood type, and that's another issue by itself. So here we go. Here's my bedroom. There's my futon, and as you see, I'm not living in squalor. I have the Bible book there because I'm going to go over Isaiah chapter 1, so I put it there. I don't have an end table. I have to get one, a small one, as you see. I'm not living in squalor. You don't see. Here is my bathroom. It's real tiny. And here is my kitchen. No dishes in the sink. Even my stove is clean. Here is my living room. There's nothing in it. I'm going to make a sofa out of this. So that's why that's sitting there. This is the only empty room, as you see. now I'm getting ready to go out the door and show you here. Here's my hallway. My apartment number. As you see, and I'm locking the door. And it's locked. Now here's my key, and I'm going to open the door. So I'm going to go over Isaiah chapter 1. If not, I will do a part 3 maybe another couple of days from now. But it's Isaiah chapter 1 in the Bible book. And I didn't deserve this. I don't know why it keeps happening to me. Every time I turn around, someone's on my paperwork. I'm finding out there's males on my paperwork employed or forging my information. I never authorized it. I never gave anyone my rights. I'm going to end the video right now because it's about to end. Have a blessed weekend.